Peter continues the theme that believers must stand firm in the grace of God while sharing the suffering of Christ in persecution and temptation by speaking about another relationship that requires obedience and submission, and that is the roles of husband and wife. And let's remember that submission is a word that speaks of simply doing God's will within God's creative order. Wives submit to husbands, husbands submit to wives, Paul will say, in that each has their role and responsibility. 1 Peter 3:1, in the same way, you wives, be submissive to your own husbands. This is not talking about all men, it's their husbands, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word of God, and I think that might describe somebody who was a non-believer or somebody who is a believer but very disobedient, but I think it's a non-believer in particular, they, the submissive wives, may gain back without a word on account of their holy conduct of their wives, that they will be won back by what they see, not by what they hear. Verse 2, by means of observing your chaste or pure and respectful conduct of life, your beautification, adornment, should not be external, like braiding the hair or wearing gold jewels or putting on colorful apparel. Now, it doesn't say that these things can't be done. They certainly should be done in a tasteful, non-self-exalting manner. But your beautification adornment should not be external only, like braiding the hair, wearing gold jewels, or putting on colorful apparel, but rather your beautification should be the inner, the secret, or the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable conduct of a considerate and quiet spirit, which is of great value in God's sight. Ladies, I'm sure you admit, we men, we are not good listeners, particularly, it seems, to our wives, but women in general. And of course, women have the same struggle. He says in verse 5, for in this way in former times, the holy women also, the ones hoping in God, and that's ultimately who we all have to hope in, they adorned or beautified themselves by means of being submissive to their own husbands, just as Sarah obeyed Abraham by means of calling him Lord. You have become her spiritual children by means of doing good, doing right, without being frightened by any intimidation. Here again, we need to trust God for our protection. And wives must fulfill God's creative order. And men must fulfill God's creative order. And yes, on my website, I have a posting about why men and women butt heads all the time, have the struggle of wills. And I would certainly encourage you to look that